On a quiet night, deep in the heart of a small mountain village, there lived a young dreamer named Amelia. She was known among her friends and neighbors as the girl with her head always in the clouds, her imagination reaching far beyond the misty peaks that surrounded her home. But what set Amelia apart wasn't just her dreams, it was her belief that they were more than just fantasies. One evening, as the village was draped in a blanket of stars, Amelia sat by her window, gazing up at the night sky. The air was cool and crisp, and the stars shimmered like diamonds scattered across black velvet. She whispered softly to herself, "I wonder what lies beyond those stars. Do they hold answers to the questions in my heart?" As she stared, a single, bright shooting star streaked across the sky. Without hesitation, Amelia closed her eyes and made a wish, "I want to discover my purpose. Show me the way." When she opened her eyes, something extraordinary happened. The room began to fill with a soft, golden glow, and a voice, gentle yet powerful, echoed in her mind. "Amelia," it said, "your wish has been heard. Are you ready to journey through the stars and uncover the truth you seek?" Her heart raced with excitement and a hint of fear. "Yes," she whispered. Suddenly, the golden light enveloped her, and she felt herself being lifted from the ground. The walls of her room dissolved, replaced by a vast expanse of swirling galaxies and shimmering stardust. Amelia found herself standing on a path made of light, stretching endlessly through the cosmos. At her side appeared a radiant figure, neither man nor woman, but an ethereal presence glowing with warmth. "I am Astra," the being said. "I will guide you on this journey. Each star we visit holds a piece of the puzzle you seek to solve." Amelia nodded, her curiosity overpowering her nervousness. Together, they began their journey. The first star they visited was a deep blue orb, pulsating gently like a heartbeat. As they approached, Amelia felt a wave of calm wash over her. Astra explained, "This star represents your past, the roots of who you are." When Amelia touched the star, memories from her childhood flooded her mind, her parents' laughter, her first steps, and the times she had fallen but always stood back up. She realized that her resilience had been shaped by every challenge she had faced. "This is your foundation," Astra said. "Never forget the strength you carry from your past." Their next destination was a fiery red star, burning with intensity. "This star," Astra said, "represents your fears and doubts. To move forward, you must confront them." As Amelia approached, she saw shadows swirling within the star, forming images of her greatest insecurities, moments when she had felt she wasn't enough or had doubted her dreams. Tears welled in her eyes, but she stood firm. "Fear is a part of you," Astra said, "but it does not define you. Face it, and it will lose its power." Amelia reached out and touched the star. The shadows dissolved, replaced by a warm glow. She felt a newfound courage ignite within her. Their final stop was a golden star, glowing brighter than all the others. "This is your potential," Astra explained. "It holds the dreams you have yet to fulfill." When Amelia touched the star, she saw visions of herself, traveling the world, sharing her stories, and inspiring others to follow their own dreams. She saw a version of herself that was confident, fearless, and full of purpose. Tears streamed down her face, but this time, they were tears of joy. "This is who I want to be," she said softly. "And this is who you already are," Astra replied. "You just needed to see it for yourself." As the journey came to an end, Amelia found herself back in her room, the golden glow fading into the soft light of the moon. But something had changed. She no longer felt small or uncertain. The stars had shown her what she was capable of, and she knew that her journey was only beginning. From that night on, Amelia pursued her dreams with unwavering determination. She wrote stories that touched hearts, traveled to places she had only imagined, and inspired others to look up at the stars and believe in their own potential. And every night, before she closed her eyes, she would gaze at the sky and whisper, "Thank you." As Amelia's journey through life continued, the lessons from the stars stayed with her, guiding her through both triumphs and challenges. She often thought back to the radiant presence of Astra and the path of light that had shown her the way. But what she didn't know was that her story was far from over. The stars had one more gift to give. One quiet evening, years after her extraordinary night among the stars, Amelia stood on the balcony of her small yet cozy home. The air was still, and the sky was once again alive with a blanket of shimmering stars. She had achieved so much, her stories were celebrated far and wide, and she had inspired countless others to follow their own paths. Yet, a small part of her heart felt unfulfilled. She whispered into the night, as she often did, "Astra, are you still out there? Have I done enough?" The stars twinkled in reply, and for a moment, all was silent. Then, a familiar golden glow began to surround her. Her heart leaped as Astra's voice echoed gently in her mind. "Amelia," the voice said, "you have lived bravely and inspired many. But there is one final truth for you to discover." Before she could respond, the golden light enveloped her once more, and she found herself back on the path of light among the stars. This time, however, the journey felt different, quieter, more intimate. Astra appeared beside her, their glow softer than before. "You've learned to see your strength, face your fears, and embrace your potential. But now, I will show you the greatest lesson of all." Amelia followed Astra to a small, flickering star, much dimmer than the others. It pulsed weakly, as though it was struggling to stay alight. "What is this star?" she asked, her voice filled with concern. "This," Astra said, "is the part of you that you've hidden away, the part that still seeks forgiveness and healing." Amelia's breath caught in her throat. She hadn't expected this. As she reached out to touch the star, memories of her past regrets flooded her mind, moments when she had hurt others unintentionally, times she had chosen self-doubt over self-love, and opportunities she had let slip away. Tears welled in her eyes. "I thought I had moved past this," she whispered. Astra placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Healing is a lifelong journey, Amelia. It's not about erasing the past but embracing it as part of your story." Amelia took a deep breath and touched the star. As she did, it began to shine brighter, its flickering light transforming into a steady, golden glow. She felt a wave of peace wash over her, as if a weight she hadn't realized she was carrying had finally been lifted. When she returned to her balcony that night, the stars seemed to shine more brightly than ever before. Amelia smiled, her heart full of gratitude and hope. She knew now that her journey wasn't about reaching a single destination, it was about embracing every step along the way, even the difficult ones. From that day forward, she poured her newfound wisdom into her stories, helping others to see the beauty in their own imperfections and the light within their struggles. And though she never journeyed through the stars again, she carried their lessons in her heart, a constant reminder that even in the darkest of nights, there is always a path of light waiting to be discovered. Though Amelia's story seemed to come to a peaceful conclusion, life had a way of surprising her in the most unexpected moments. Months passed, and Amelia found herself more connected to the world around her than ever before. Her stories had begun to reach people from all walks of life, those who were lost, those seeking hope, and those on the verge of giving up. Letters poured in daily, thanking her for her words, her wisdom, and her ability to make them believe in their own strength. One particular letter stood out to her one morning. It came in a plain envelope with no return address, but the handwriting was careful and deliberate. She unfolded the letter, and the words inside struck her like a bolt of light. "Dear Amelia, I don't know if you remember me, but you changed my life many years ago. I was just a child when I first heard your words, and they gave me the courage to face the challenges I was too afraid to confront. I don't know where I'd be without your stories, and I want you to know that your light reached me when I needed it the most." I've spent my life trying to share that same light with others. If you'd like to meet, I'll be at the observatory in the mountains where your journey began. Tomorrow, at sunset. With gratitude. A fellow traveler. Amelia's heart raced as she reread the letter. She couldn't place who it might have been, but the words touched her deeply. She decided she had to go. The next evening, Amelia found herself climbing the familiar path to the mountain's observatory, her breath visible in the cool air. The setting sun bathed the landscape in golden hues, and the stars were just beginning to peek through the darkening sky. When she reached the observatory, she saw a figure standing by the railing, looking out at the endless horizon. As she approached, the figure turned, a young man, perhaps in his early 20s, with eyes that seemed to carry the weight of both hardship and hope. "You came," he said, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "I'm here," Amelia replied, her curiosity and warmth shining through. "But I don't know who you are." The young man smiled faintly. "You might not remember, but years ago, you visited an orphanage in a nearby town. You told us a story about the stars and how they hold the answers we're too afraid to ask. I was one of those kids. Back then, I was lost, angry at the world for abandoning me. But your story, it gave me a reason to look up, to dream of something more." Amelia's mind flashed back to that visit. She hadn't thought much of it at the time, just another small event in her journey. But seeing the man before her now, she realized the ripple effect her words had created. "What have you done with that dream?" she asked softly. He smiled wider this time, his eyes glistening. "I became a teacher. I tell stories now, too. And every time I see a child struggling to believe in themselves, I remind them to look up, just like you reminded me." Tears filled Amelia's eyes as she stepped closer. "You've taken the light and made it brighter. I'm so proud of you." They stood there for hours, sharing stories under the starlit sky, two souls connected by a journey that began years ago. In that moment, Amelia realized that her journey through the stars had never truly ended, it had simply found new travelers to carry the light forward. From that night on, Amelia's stories took on an even deeper meaning. She told not just of her own journey, but of the lives she had touched and the people who had touched hers in return. And as she gazed up at the stars each night, she knew that the light she had once found would continue to guide others, long after she was gone.